Hi there, everyone, and welcome to Paper Wishes weekly webisodes. I'm Sara Newman, and I'm so happy you're joining me for this episode of Saturday with Sara. Today, I'm really excited to show you the Dusty Rose collection of papers and embellishments from our friends in Japan at Asuka Studios. And we can start with a look at the 6x6 paper pack, which contains 24 sheets of double-sided papers, 4 of each design. Now you can see some of the patterns on here, but let's take a closer look and I can show you these beautiful designs. Really nice soft collage, florals, you've got some faux texture, some faux fabric on here. I love these little faux highlights that are printed on some of the designs too. So these are your double-sided pattern papers. Then there are 2 sheets in the collection with elements that you can cut out. So you can see some of these smaller elements here. Of course, because they're double-sided, you've got another pattern on the reverse. Then to go along, we've also got a set of collage origami paper. 4 sheets of 6 different designs in beautiful patterns, and you can see these here. But again, let me show you. These are just so gorgeous. Soft and delicate designs, really fun and easy to work with, and a beautiful color combination as well. Now, of course, you can use origami paper for origami. You can also use it as a background or an accent on your cards without folding if you want to. So again, those are the collage origami papers and our 6x6 papers. Now to go along, we also have a pack of 24 coordinating paper die cuts with sentiments and images that perfectly match the pattern papers. I'll flip this over and you can see the contents on here. These are just a lot of fun, beautiful quality as well, and they just work great in combination with these pattern papers. Now, last but not least, one of my favorite paper crafting supplies, washi tape, and you've got to roll with this collection here. Now, this has over 16 feet of pattern designs, and I've pulled off just a snippet so that you can see here. Absolutely gorgeous. You've got designs ranging from wildflowers and butterflies to cameras and sunglasses. Perfect for card making, for journals, and for so much more. As you can see, we have a lot to explore today, and I'm so glad you're here. Come play with us. Let's start with a fun and simple card design that uses these gorgeous supplies. So my card layout features a circle-shaped window focal with lots of layers of paper and die cuts. So when you look at the front of the card, you can see the die cut sentiment here. And then when you open the card, you have a couple of die cuts from the 6x6 paper collection, some origami paper, and even a strip of that washi tape here. So for my card front, I'm using this paper design with a nice big circular area. I really love this paper, and I was inspired by this circle, and I thought it would be really fun to create a window effect from this and do some layering with some of those die cuts. So what I did first is die cut the front panel of my blank white card using a circle die, and this is from Hot Off the Press's circle and scalloped cutting dies. So when you do this, of course, you want to make sure your card is open. Just place that circle down where you want your window to go, secure it down with a little bit of low-tack tape, and run it through your die cutting machine, and then you will have your window cut card. And then what I've done is taken the same die and placed it here on my pattern paper. Again, secured it down with a little bit of low-tack tape and run it through the die cutting machine. And then I have a piece that looks like this. And from here, what I can do is simply align this on the front of my card and glue it in place and then trim off any excess paper on either side. Now, you can, of course, glue the paper to your card front, then do your die cutting if you want. I found it easier for me and for my slightly old die cutting machine to do the two of them separately. This is nice thick cardstock, and so is this, and I just found it worked a little bit more easily to run the two separately through there and then glue them together. And then what I can do from here is add in my scalloped border that you can see around here. Now this is also made with the circular cutting dies. So I took this pattern paper, which I like quite a lot, and I die cut the scallop shape. And then from that scallop shape, I die cut the circle. Now this is the same circle that I used for the card front and for my pattern paper. And this will give me, let me grab it, this piece here. And from here, I can simply glue this right onto the front of my card. So then I've got a nice kind of finishing frame around this window. And from here, I can go ahead and decorate the front of my card. So let me show you again. We'll take another look at this. I've got my sentiment up here. This is popped up on some foam tape. I have this die cut piece right on the card front, a little bit of jute twine on here too. And then for the inside, some cutouts from the 6x6 paper pack, and that's from this sheet here. And I can just use my paper trimmer to snip out any of those designs that I want. And then I've got the it's like a sealing wax embellishment that's just popped down here. And then on this side, I've added a border of washi tape. Just place that right down along the edge here. So this is one really simple way to combine the papers and embellishments in today's collection. Now, of course, not all of the projects have to be cards. I love the mini envelopes die from hot off the press, and 6x6 papers are perfect for this, especially 6x6 double-sided pattern papers, because then you've got the best of both worlds. So for this little envelope, here's the front of it decorated, and then when you open it up, as you can see, got that double-sided pattern paper, and then I have a little message that can tuck right inside there. Now the die that I'm working with is the mini envelope and gift card holder die from hot off the press. This is one that I love to use. I use it often. I teach a lot of classes with this too. Folks really enjoy working with this. So all you need to do is take one of those two dies that's included in the set, and again, position it onto your pattern paper. Choose which side you want to be the front, which side you want to be the inside. And then all you need to do is just fold it up and secure the sides if you want to. So you can have the sides be open and have the entire piece open if you want, or you can glue those sides together, fold this down, and then tuck this here. Now you can also use a little bit of washi tape to secure this down, which is what I will do with my project. So again, we can take another look at this. You can see here, I've got a torn piece of rice paper that's just been glued straight onto the envelope. And then I've added my die cuts with a bit of foam tape. I have a little bit of jute twine behind here as well. And then for my note inside, I've simply trimmed down a piece of cardstock from the X-Ray Flowers cardstock pack and added some origami paper on top, plus a die cut and a dazzle. And then after I tuck that inside and close this up, I can just tear off a little snippet of my washi tape and use that to secure it down. Quick and easy, and a great way to package up a gift card or even just a sweet little note for someone special. This card also uses the washi tape, but more as a pattern paper rather than something to hold things together, as with our mini envelope. So in this case, I've used a strip of washi tape mounted up onto white cardstock as part of this center section here on the front of my card. So probably like you, I generally end up with lots of little strips of off-cut pieces of paper, especially when I'm using a paper trimmer. And they're so pretty, and I always want to put them to use, and I do often save them for a very long time. So this is a really good way to incorporate them into another card design. So here I've mounted each one of these 3 strips that you see onto white cardstock, and then I glued them onto the front of my card, which is covered with origami paper. And I mounted these onto white cardstock just so that I've got a little bit of visual space between each of those patterns, so that it gives your eye a bit of a visual rest, if you will, so those patterns don't compete. But the grouping of this really makes a nice kind of spotlight area for my card focal. So I've got my die cut popped up on some foam tape. This little mug here is also popped up on a second layer of foam tape. And then I have another die cut element here, which is just glued straight onto the front of the card. And I've got a little jute bow as well, and some Dazzles hearts. I've got some tucked in here, and I've got a fun little swirly heart down here. Now those hearts are on the Dazzle script sheet. So when you get all of those beautiful script Dazzles, which I love to use, you're also getting some little heart accents and some little flowers as well. So these just make wonderful embellishments regardless of your card theme. And they're just a lot of fun to kind of tuck in there. Now for the card inside, I've added some more strips of pattern paper and another strip of washi tape. And this time I just placed it right along the inside of the card. I wasn't matting it first. Then I have another die cut label and a Dazzle message, and of course another little heart on there to go along. Now, so far I have been using the origami paper for backgrounds and accents, and you can definitely use them as pattern papers. Of course, you can also use them for origami projects too, but somewhere in between you can use them for really simple folds like this bouquet holder that you see here, and I've got another one here. Now this is a technique that I used from hot off the press designer Susan Cobb a long time ago, and it's just perfect for these papers and embellishments. So let's take a look at how to do this. I'm going to bring in a piece of my origami paper, and this is square. Now you can do this technique with any size of paper as long as it is a square. For my card project, I was working with squares that measured 2 3/4 inches. So of course this is a little bit bigger, but I thought it might be easier for us to see it as well. What I'll do is flip it over so that I've got the pattern side facing down, and I'm positioning this as a diamond shape. And then what I'm going to do is create a marker right here in the center. So I'm simply going to take one side over to the other side and fold this down. And then open it up. So I've got a marker line in here. And then what I'm going to do is take one side, doesn't matter which one you start with, and I'm going to fold this over, again starting from the tip, and I'm going to fold it so that it goes slightly over that center fold. Doesn't really matter how much, there's no precise measurement, but just a little bit over, just a little bit past this fold here. Okay, and then open this back up, and I'll repeat with the other side. Again, just going over a little bit, and it doesn't have to be the same distance as you did before. It's not quite as precise as some origami. So there we go. So I've got my sides that would go in just past the center line. And then I can fold back the tips of each of these front flaps. And you can play with the angle that you want to have that folded back at. It's really up to you. And then score everything down, and you've got your folded bouquet holder. So this can be folded back more if you want to, or less, or not at all, in fact. So you can really personalize your bouquet holder as much as you want. And then you can fill it with various embellishments, as I've done here using some of the die cuts from the collection. And I've got one in here, and I've got one placed at the bottom, and then a second one layered on top over here. Now you could also use some maybe handmade paper flowers. Dimensional paper flowers would be really pretty as well. So you can do lots of things with that simple folding. Now for the little flaps on my bouquet holder, you could ink them, you could stamp on them, you could also use some of that washi tape to create another pattern in here as well. Now for the rest of the focal element here, I've added some more jute twine. I've got some die cut elements or some cutout elements popped up with a little bit of foam tape. These floral embellishments are also popped up on foam tape, and I've placed both of these down onto my card front. This is origami paper, and then I've got some pattern paper top and bottom, and of course one of my Dazzles on here too. Then for the card inside, I have some pattern paper, and I've got some more strips of washi tape, again top and bottom, and another dazzle message to finish it off. Our final project today uses the center step die to create the card base and give us this really fun and unique shape. So let me show you the die that I'm working with here. This is one of my favorites. So you can see in the package, of course, because it's hot off the press, they're going to give you not only a super quality of die, just one piece in this case, they're also going to give you some diagrams on here and your dimensions for your folded size. Of course, you've also got a project idea, some step-by-step instructions, and then all of your folding guides on here too, where your mountain folds and your valley folds are going to go. So when you start with this, you're going to have your die, looks like this, and I die cut my piece from a sheet from the X-Ray Flowers cardstock pack. Now this is of course too big to use with our 6x6 pattern papers, but your 12x12 papers will be perfect for this. So I've die cut my shape. Now with this die, of course, it will cut around the outside edge. It will also cut and create your score lines for the inside. So really quick and easy to do. So when you get your piece out of your die cutting machine, it will look like this. And you'll simply be able to follow those score lines and fold up your mountain fold and your valley folds, and you'll have a piece that looks like this, all ready to decorate. And I think this is just great fun, especially if you have something you really want to spotlight as your card focal. So let's take another look at the card design and talk about how we've put this together. So in the center, I'm using some origami paper, and then I'm overlapping with a strip of cardstock at the bottom, plus washi tape mounted onto white cardstock. Then I have my circle die cut focal with a dazzle message and an overlapping flower die cut. And then I also have another little die cut message tucked under this paper strip here. Some jute twine on here as well, just to add a little bit of softness. And then when you open up the card, you can see I've got another circle with a dazzle message on there. And this time I've layered some vellum on top of this pattern paper so the dazzle stands out even more. And that is our final project for the day today. So a big thank you to our friends at Asuka Studio for these beautiful supplies, and a big thank you to you for joining me today. We're really glad that you're here, and we're so happy you're a part of the Paper Wishes family. Do feel free to leave a comment. We love to hear what you think. Each item can be purchased separately, and you can see them below. However, we've also bundled them into a creative money saver just for you. For the money saver, just see this webisode on paperwishes.com. And if you're watching us on YouTube, have a look in the description box below this video. You'll find a link that will take you to our Paper Wishes webisodes page, and you can see everything I just mentioned. If you enjoyed our video today, we'd really appreciate a thumbs up. It helps people to find our channel. And don't forget to subscribe. We create 3 to 5 videos each week, so there's always something fun to inspire your creative spirit.